mentioned that we had lunch with most of these people earlier this week, and you gave us a little recap of your career. And as you were speaking, I thought, I remember that. I remember that. I remember that. And what I realized, listen to it, is how much you have pushed the envelope on everything we do. No, I'm not trying to make jokes. You've expanded our practice. You've gotten us into areas that I don't think we anticipated to get into, and with such expertise and such scholarship and such passion that you've helped to remake our practice. And I don't know whether all the younger people here realize how you have pushed the borders of everything you've done, and how much good as a result you've done for people who aren't our clients, who we will never know, who we will never speak to. But you've done good things for many, many people. And I think it's a tremendous a tremendous contribution that you've made, and a great credit to you as an individual and to the family for their willingness to sacrifice their time with you so that you can help so many others. But Richard, this is a unique practice where we actually do good for people who will never know, and you've done a tremendous amount of good.
Thank you.
Howard talked about Richard pushing the
I
borders.
hope you guys got a room.
Pushing the borders. So in the 90s, we had a client that called me up and said, "Hey, Steve, I got invited to speak at this conference, and it was a Baltic state." I was like, "Well, I'm not going to a Baltic state." "Hey, Richard, you want to go to a Baltic state?" Was Steve White? Was Steve
White, yeah.
invited us?
Yeah, with Romania.
Romania.
Oh, right.
That was the
They had a
famous.
Thank God Steve has just the U.S. affordable housing. You know, the Baltics.
Foreclosure laws, someplace in Africa.
Oh, Ghana.
Ghana,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're not supposed to say it out loud,
Okay,
but
but
we wrote mortgage laws in Ghana. And also for a couple Indian tribes in Arizona, New Mexico, and the state of California's loan guarantee program.
Other than that.
See what I mean? See what I mean?
Other than that, we've done nothing for 45 years.
It's not just Section 8. Oh, Section 8's important.
Richard,
All right.
the stage is yours.
Thank you. So first of all, the reason why the Richard Price is important.
The Richard Michael.
The Richard
Michael
Price.
Price.
When I first started using consistently Richard Michael Price, the following things happened. This is what caused me to do it. Thing number one. I received a phone call from a clerk's judge's chambers, Judge Teal's chambers, and because Richard Price had not appeared for a hearing, and I went on to explain to the clerk, I didn't interrupt her, that there are 3 Richard Prices admitted to the bar in the District of Columbia, and she started laughing. She went, "I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to call the marshals and get them back here before they get to And I took her name, and running down to our receptionist at the time, and I said, if U.S. Marshals show up here, have them call this number if they're asking for me. And she said, "What did you do?" "I didn't do anything." Second story. And by the way, I'm cutting it short. I have like about 40 stories. Second story.
Of course you do.
Second story. I was sitting there, we're on 23rd Street, and I was opening my mail, because we had mail in those days. And Chuck's office was next to mine. And I opened up this letter. It's addressed to Richard Price at our address. And you will probably remember this. I did tell you. And it was a love letter to Richard Price. But that Richard Price worked for the Congressional Research Service on housing issues and lived around the corner, Georgetown. And we knew her. So I said to Chuck, I got a letter from this person whose name I've forgotten. He goes, oh yeah, that's very nice. I said, it's a love letter. It was meant for another Richard Price. I said, what do I do? And Chuck says, you call her, you tell her. I said, Chuck,
You call her.
just rip the Band-Aid off and just call her. So I called her and I explained. She goes, oh, yeah, I got the wrong address. So anyway.
Read it slowly.
Right. I got other stories. I'll stop there. Anyway, so there came a point where I said, oh, there's one more. I get this phone call from this very frightened first-year associate, summer associate at Aiken Gump, which at the time was around the corner from us, on 23rd Street. His name, freshly admitted to the bar, was Richard Matthew Price. So I was trying out Richard M. Price for a short while. And it was some highly confidential documents from Joseph Tischer.
I was thinking about
I
you.
love Joe
If
Kisha.
you know Joe Tischer, you know that everything is an issue. And he said, I'm so sorry, I opened this up and everything, and it was correctly addressed to me, but the FedEx guy, he decided to address it to deliver to the Richard M. Price down the street at Aiken Gump, even though it was addressed to the Richard M. Price and Dixon Peabody. So from that on, it became Richard Michael Price, which I will tell you, stood me in good stead when I got that phone call from the guy who said, I just jumped bail like you told me to. I'm sorry. And I said, are you sure you have the right person? He said, it's Rich Price. I said, Richard Michael Price. And he goes, you're Richard? Oh. It was the end of that conversation.
You have 1 minute left on the phone.
Jump bail. So, Richard Michael Price. Everyone thinks I'm putting on airs, but I'm telling you, it makes everything for everybody much, much simpler. It was much my chagrin that when I was given the name Richard Price, that it was thought to be unusual in Oyster Bay, New York. You know, but in fact, it is not. It is one of the most common names in the United States. There's that. So enough of that stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff was. I thank you for everybody for all the kind words and thoughts. You know, I very much appreciate it. You know, I will say I can go down through a lot of stuff. We still, you know, among the Price clan, talk about the tiki room and taking the kids to the tiki room. Or we had a debate today about what was it? La Lounge versus the tiki room. Things like that. Which Christine, Randy. Yes, and all the rest of
Orlando
stuff.
sleeping.
Orlando sleeping. Yeah, and you know, just and the notion that we would that folks in this room would set up, take booze out of their filing cabinet, which we,
Oh my God, that only happened most of the time.
which all of us put it in there. By the way.
God bless Fred Flair.
Okay.
What's the filing cabinet?
Was found out before, and that we would, and as things got really difficult towards and tense towards the end of the calendar year, so the end of the fiscal year, and tax year, that we would, you know, go down to usually Christine, but not that, but then later on,
My old office.
old office.
My old office.
And then, or in conference room, and, you know, bring food and just shoot the shit for a couple of hours, and then go back to work.
Yep.
A little woozy, but go back to work. And I brought my kids, not, you know, and we all had desserts and things people made.
And Billy's Ball.
Billy's
Balls.
Balls. Martin's nuts.
Martin's Nuts.
Martin's nuts.
All these things.
Oh, Mary.
That's a
Names
for a high-powered,
I know.
for a high-powered group of lawyers, and we are a high-powered group of lawyers. That's pretty cool. That we're all kind of
Yeah.
hanging out and doing stuff, and this is like a normal circuit. So, and there are other things, but that was always really wonderful. And as you all, figure out the cadence of things and the movement of things post-pandemic and all the rest of that stuff, I hear little whispers of that restarting here and there. That's good stuff to do, and it's just a lot of fun. But it's also really, you know, an indication of what Herb Stevens, who is another retired partner in the syndication shop, would say: we do important work with good people, and that's really true. And what Harry said is really true. And I was working on, apparently we have a whole system, and somebody's helping me ghostwrite my farewell emails blast or whatever. I don't know. I'm learning how this goes. I don't know. But one of the things that I asked to put in there is that, you know, we really, you know, usually at the end of the day, we have a good, an objective good that we impart, and, you know, create homes for people, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, without exaggeration, of people that have decent homes because of the work we do and the people we work with, our clients and our friends and so forth. It's not, you know, it takes a group, it takes a village, it takes a group, and it really does, and it's a team effort and team in a real sense, and you know, and it's been tremendous doing that, and it's tremendous learning that from Chuck, learning that from Bruce Lane, and seeing the closeness of their relationship, and then and Chuck's knee, so to speak, you know, or sometimes after being yelled at by Chuck. Those days are long gone.
Now I
In a
know.
good way.
Now I know where you got it from.
And you know, that the rest of us kind of you know, went from a group of a few attorneys, or at least at that time, from a few attorneys to many attorneys, and support from everybody else that's here, and it's you know, that's all a testament to that notion that was instilled in us of working together. Or there was you know, the notion that you should work with people who are mentioned, which is Yiddish for stand up. Well, I won't make it just men, you know, but stand up guys, stand up people. You know, people who are fit to do work for the federal government. We're response now. But you know, folks you like working with, and let's be honest. And it's a little different these days with the technology and the pandemic and all. But you spend most of your waking hours, and you know, with us, with one another. And you know, it's important to, you know, have something that you like doing, and people you like doing it with. And a lot of the stuff we do is really intense. Well, I would say to some people, it sounds like I said to Anthony, was you know, we have to be, you know, a lot of times we're like right on the edge, so we have to be spot on accurate with what we're doing in order to get something accomplished. But you know, around the edges is where stuff gets done. You know, and you want to be absolutely certain that you're right about it. So, you know, that's very intense, and it's a lot of energy, and it's a lot of emotion that goes into it. And if you're going to spend that much time with that much energy, you know, you should want it to be something important for the people you love. You know, that's really what it is. Cheers. And you know, I love you guys too, and you know. Go out there, bill and collect.
Before we actually cheers, Richard, I would feel terrible if I didn't thank, number one, Janet, Ben, and Lauren so much for sharing your husbands, your partner, your father with us all of these years. So thank you so much for putting up with us. Because without you guys, he wouldn't be always there with us, and I thank you. So I just want to make sure that
You all are
because
family,
you guys,
too.
we are, but I want to make sure because you've dealt with a lot, my friend, and you deserve your kudos as well. And I remember, like as we said, the little kids coming in, but to all of you collectively, I appreciate you all very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Christine, I just hope we're not blaming Richie's health issues on us. Which could be true.
I don't think I mentioned anything about it.
But, Richard, it's been a good one. It's been a fabulous one. The one thing you just mentioned is we like the work we do. We spend a lot of time away from our family and friends and loved ones. You know, make it count. Do it with the people that you want to be around and that you trust, not only as colleagues and experts in the field, but as friends. And if anything that I think if we can impart on younger guys, you know, go out for those happy hours, go for those runs, whatever you get to do these days. Happy hours where we
He said whatever the people do these days.
Don't drink like us.
but enjoy whatever you do because you do spend a lot of time away from your kids, away from your husbands, away from your wives, and you end up being a good family. You know, if you want to work family. And we did. We accomplished
We do.
it.
You do.
You know,
We do.
We hired the best people that we saw that came along, no matter what their race was, no matter what their religion was. And, you know, we were trailblazers in so many different ways. And, you know, I asked Monica, I said, so what's Wally? Oh, you're just another
Wait, hold on.
No.
Hold on.
Oh my god. I need to get my drink for this.
I don't
Oh god. I need a drink for
think it's
this.
time for dessert.